Aynı şekilde Gazze'deki masumların hiçbir ayrım gözetilmeden sürekli bombardımana maruz bırakılarak katledilmelerini de asla kabul etmiyoruz.
In a move that has sent shockwaves through the Middle East, Russia and Turkey have deployed troops to the Jordanian border in a show of support for Gaza Palestine. This unexpected development has caught Israel off guard and raised concerns about the stability of the area. Knowing that the significance of this deployment, we need to delve into the historical context, the complex relationships between these nations, and the potential consequences for the already volatile Middle East. The Israel-Palestine conflict has deep historical roots dating back to the late 19th century, when Jewish immigration to Palestine began to increase over the years. Tensions escalated, leading to the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, which was met with resistance from Arab nations. The conflict has seen numerous wars, intifadas, and peace negotiations, but a lasting solution remains elusive. Turkey has historically played a complicated role in the Middle East, balancing its ties with Israel and its support for Palestine under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's leadership. Turkey has shifted towards a more pro-Palestinian stance. This shift was notably seen during the 2010 Gaza flotilla incident. Turkish activists attempted to breach the Israeli blockade on Gaza. This incident harmed Turkey-Israel links and marked a turning point in Turkey's foreign policy. Russia, on the other hand, has maintained a complex relationship with the Middle East, primarily driven by its interests in the region's energy resources and influence in global politics. Russia has been a key player in Syria, supporting the Assad regime and maintaining a military presence in the country. This involvement has allowed Russia to strengthen its ties with various Middle Eastern nations, including Iran and Turkey. The Gaza Strip is a narrow strip of land along the Mediterranean-Palestinian conflict for decades, controlled by the Palestinian militant group Hamas. Since 2007, Gaza has endured multiple conflicts with Israel, resulting in significant humanitarian crisis. The recent escalation in violence, as you all know, has been since the 7th of October. Russia and Turkey's deployment. The decision by Russia and Turkey to deploy troops to the Jordanian border is a significant departure from their previous positions. While both nations have voiced support for the Palestinian cause, such a visible military presence is a new development. The deployment underscores their commitment to supporting Gaza in its struggle against Israel. The deployment of troops by Russia and Turkey carries several geopolitical implications for the Middle East. First, it challenges Israel's traditional regional dominance and forces it to consider the shifting dynamics of the Middle East. Israel has relied on its military superiority and strong alliances with the United States to maintain its position, but this development introduces a new dimension to the conflict. Second, it highlights the growing influence of external actors in the region. Russia and Turkey have joined a list of countries, including Iran, that have become increasingly involved in Middle Eastern affairs. This competition for influence adds complexity to the region's power dynamics and could further complicate efforts to find a lasting solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict. Third, the deployment raises questions about the role of Jordan in this situation. As the host country to these troops, Jordan's stance and actions will be closely monitored. Jordan has traditionally maintained a relatively stable and moderate position in the Middle East, and its involvement in this deployment could have repercussions for its regional standing. The international community has responded with mixed reactions to the deployment of Russian and Turkish troops on the Jordanian border. The United Nations and various Western countries have expressed concerns about the escalation of tensions in the region and called for a de-escalation of the situation. The United States in particular is closely monitoring the developments and has reaffirmed its commitment to Israel's security. Conversely, many Arab nations have welcomed the move, viewing it as a strong stance in support of the Palestinian cause. Countries like Saudi Arabia, which has historically been cautious in its approach to the Israel-Palestine conflict, have issued statements expressing solidarity with the Palestinians. Hamas, the ruling authority in Gaza, has praised Russia and Turkey's deployment, seeing it as a show of support for their resistance against Israeli occupation. The Palestinian Authority, which governs parts of the West Bank, has taken a more cautious approach, calling for a unified Palestinian stance. but refraining from openly endorsing the troop deployment. The deployment of Russian and Turkish troops on the Jordanian border has the potential to reshape the dynamics of the Israel-Palestine conflict and the broader Middle East. Here are some possible consequences Israel may face: heightened diplomatic and military pressure given the presence of Russian and Turkish troops near its borders. This could lead to a reassessment of its military strategies and foreign policies. The deployment underscores the changing power dynamics in the Middle East, with Russia and Turkey emerging as influential players. This could lead to shifts in alliances and regional politics. The presence of foreign troops in the region may complicate efforts to negotiate a peaceful resolution to the Israel-Palestine conflict. Mediators and peace initiatives may need to adapt to the evolving situation. Any military presence in a conflict zone carries the risk of escalation. The situation on the Jordanian border is delicate, and any miscalculation or provocation could lead to a larger confrontation. Jordan's role as the host country for the deployed troops could strain its relations with both Israel and its Arab neighbors. The Jordanian government will need to navigate this delicate situation carefully. Diplomatic efforts to address the situation may intensify, with the United Nations and other international actors working to diffuse tensions and find a peaceful solution. The deployment of Russian and Turkish troops on the Jordanian border in support of Gaza Palestine has intensified an already complex and long-standing conflict. It is crucial to consider the historical context and the shifting dynamics of the Middle East to understand the significance of this move. Both Russia and Turkey have undergone policy shifts over the years, aligning themselves more closely with the Palestinian cause, particularly under the leadership of President Erdogan in Turkey and President Putin in Russia. The historical backdrop of the Israel-Palestine conflict dates back over a century, marked by waves of immigration, colonialism, and political upheaval. The establishment of the State of Israel in 1948 led to a series of wars and disputes with neighboring Arab countries. Despite numerous peace negotiations and attempts to find a solution, the conflict persists, resulting in suffering for both Israelis and Palestinians. Turkey, a NATO member and historically an ally of Israel, has experienced a significant transformation in its foreign policy under President Erdogan's leadership. This shift became evident during the Gaza flotilla incident in 2010, when Turkish activists attempted to break the Israeli blockade on Gaza. The incident strained Turkey's relations with Israel and marked the beginning of a more assertive Turkish stance in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Russia, on the other hand, has maintained a nuanced approach. Russia's involvement in Syria, where it has backed the Assad regime and maintained a military presence, has solidified its presence in the region and provided opportunities for forging ties with various Middle Eastern nations, including Iran and now Turkey, motivated by its interests in the region. Synergy, resources, arms sales, and political influence. The Gaza Strip has been at the core of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict for decades, controlled by Hamas. Since 2007, Gaza has been the scene of repeated challenges with Israel, resulting in a severe humanitarian situation. Russia and Turkey's plan for sending the troops to the Jordanian border is a significant and surprising step. While both nations have voiced support for the Palestinian cause, this military move represents a clear demonstration of their commitment to Gaza's struggle against Israel. It signals a departure from their previous, less overt involvement in the conflict. The geopolitical implications of this deployment are far-reaching. Israel has traditionally relied on its military prowess and strong alliances with Western nations, particularly the United States, to maintain its position in the region. The presence of Russian and Turkish troops near its boundaries challenge Israel's centuries-old leadership, forcing it to reconsider its strategic outlook. The deployment of Russian and Turkish soldiers on the Jordanian border to help Gaza Palestine marks a key step in the Israel-Palestine conflict. It has geopolitical consequences that transcend beyond the local area by challenging Israel's centuries-old supremacy and emphasize the growing importance of other entities in the Middle East. International community is closely watching the situation, and diplomatic efforts are underway to address the escalating tensions. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure the notification bell is turned on so you don't miss a video.